Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to our Technology Education Socratic Dialogue. So, have you ever wondered how our subject knowledge or how our core subject knowledge, like physics and maths, is being used to form technology? If yes, then today's dialogue, Socratic Dialogue, is for you. We're going to have a discussion over the same. So, now I would like to invite the teams to go ahead and introduce themselves. Who would like to go first?
I am Srinakshmi. I am from Team EduTech. I am working as a developer at DeepThought.
Thank you, Sri Lakshmi. Who would like to go next?
Yeah, this
Hello,
is
everyone.
Anshul Nisham. I'm working as a data scientist in the client company, Unique Biotech. Yeah.
Thank you, Anshul. Would like to go next?
Good evening, everyone. This is Vamshi from TNet. I'm working as a behavioral data scientist at Deep.
Thank you, Vamshi. Who would like to go next?
This is Sahil, working as a data scientist in Deep.
Thank you, Sahil. Who's next?
Hello everyone, this is Nihal. I'm working as a developer in residence in DeepThought. I'm from the team EduTech.
Thank you, Nihal.
Anjali, this side.
Anjali, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah. Anjali, this side. I'm working as a behavioral data analyst at DeepThought, and I'm from Team EduTech.
Thank you, Anjali. Now I would request our co-moderator to introduce himself.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is Gaurav. I'm working as a behavioral data scientist at TikTok. Today, I'll be co-moderating this session.
Hi, everyone. I'm Artua, and I'm working as a growth hacker in Deep Thought, and I'll be your moderator today. So, without any further delay, I have one question before we go into the pitching session. And this is a ritualistic question. We ask this to all the teams. So, I would like to ask both the teams why is your name, why is the name given to your team? What is the meaning behind that name? Any one team
Yeah.
can start.
Yeah. Our team will
Yes,
want
Anshul.
to go first. Like our team is very inspired with Elon Musk and inspired with his company SpaceX. So with technology, we want to explore in some of the directions that only with technology it can be possible, and using the human skills and technology together, we need to explore out the unknown dimensions. So yeah, that is what our team means.
That's an interesting explanation. Thank you, Anshul. Team EduTech, would you like to explain?
Yeah, so our team is EduTech, which is something DeepThought is closely aligned with, and educational technology is what we focus as DeepThought people, and that is something that we'll be exploring during our pitch as well. So please wait for that.
Sure, building a suspense. That's interesting. Okay, so now I would open the room for pitches. Which team would like to go ahead and pitch first?
So we are starting. We are going first.
Sure, Sahil. Your team can go ahead and pitch.
I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
I'm audible.
Yes,
You're
you're
audible,
audible.
but you're
Sir.
stuck.
Okay.
Go
So,
ahead.
so for technology, Socratic dialogue. So we can principles here. First one is deep understanding of problem solving, and let's go with the and
I think Sahil's internet connection is lagging. Can anyone from the team take over at in his place? And he can come back later.
yeah, sure, I'll go ahead.
Sure.
Our pitch for today's technology education Socratic dialogue. We have come up with four major principles uh, for the teachers to help students understand the technology education. So the first would be the understanding the problem. In here, math teachers and science teachers could go ahead and help understand the students, the understanding the problems and all. And in the second principle is creativity. Art and design teachers would go ahead and introduce creativity and to nurture the creativity in the students. And our third principle is involvement. Here, the communication teachers and science teachers would come in and make the learning more fun and more involvement. And our fourth is exploration. Uh, Here, all the teachers could, make the students explore in different dimensions of tech to help them understand the technology. So this is our pitch. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask it.
Thank you, Vamshi. The room is open for questions. If the other team would like to ask any questions, please go ahead.
So I have a question. You mentioned communication and involvement. How exactly are these things connected to technology?
Yeah, involvement, I think, if you involve students with teachers and students with more projects with technology, that would help them understand technology better. I mean,
How?
student, if you involve students by doing them projects, as in the first case, and not just by explaining them the theoretical concepts, and also make uh, have some collaborative discussions and group discussions so that they can share their thoughts and uh, uh, share their thoughts to understand technology with each other.
Okay. Are you saying like this will be more like live experiments? Okay.
Yeah, like hands-on experiments and group discussions and all, so that team building culture could improve and uh, the students can share their thoughts with each other.
Okay. I have a follow-up question to that. So you mentioned this interactive activities, experiments help students understand technology. But these are kids, right? And technology is something, let's take a scenario wherein they don't know anything about technology. So how exactly putting them into the real labs or experiments, uh, cater in?
No, not just directly put them into projects and experiments. First, we explain and we let them explore and we make them interactive, we make them form some groups, understand by themselves. Then after we explain, then we move to project dealing and all that.
Now you mentioned like understanding by themselves. So that means there are a lot of interpretations that happen when it comes to technology. How exactly the educators or people who are teaching them can take care of those things, because our aim is to explain them technology. And what if few students do not get the way you are explaining through involvement and communication? What if students do not exactly find the right understanding or right interpretation of a technological model?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll answer.
okay.
Yeah, I like to answer that. So, for making the kids to get the correct interpretation of the problem statement for the technology. Uh, is it correct? This is the question, right? So yeah, so for that, kids are new, but we have the teachers who have, and teachers and professors who have been experienced in this field, doing a lot of iterations, experiments, and solving various kind of problems. So yeah, it will be like they know how they get into the problem, break the problems into different process, and how it can get solved. So picking the technology into that part of the process where it is making the use of technology in that part and making entire process as a whole faster. That we can inculcate in the students who are like kids who are small enough, and make them understand with the skills and experience of the teachers who have done this before already.
I didn't get like faster as in.
As in like they should not like be like in tangents. If they are kids, they'll try to figure out a lot of things and they will go out of in tangents. But with the correct guidance of the teachers of that problem, they actually know the first principle. So in that case, they'll put the correct tool of technology of solving that problem and get it rectified faster.
Can you give me some example or like an example how exactly that could be done?
Just I'll like give an example, like a small example, like the garden. If we are ask the kids to dig a hole in the ground, they'll use some rocks and some branches to dig it out. But after 1 hour, we introduce them to some tools like uh, to digging the with the metal tools, and show them the contrast, how easily you have done now and how you're doing before. So this will give them a relationship that there are alternatives and smarter ways of technology to work on the things in a better way.
Okay, thank you. I'm good. Anybody else has any questions? Please go ahead.
Anyone else from the team? Yes,
So,
Shilakshmi, go ahead.
Krishnamurthy, you mentioned that communication, I mean, the classes which are regarding to communication that will help in business technology. I mean, sorry, educate technology education. How it is related to education technology? Can you tell about it more?
Yes. So yeah, like communication is a very like first part, uh, we have a problem statement given, and we have to identify the problems and the root causes, going rigor into it, and we have to just deal with the we have to just discuss and find out the correct solution. Now here, what the communication plays, it helps us to articulate in a proper way that the same message, the correct gist of the problem statement goes correctly among our teams who are brainstorming and that, and like that understanding will be clear to everyone instead of having any ambiguities. So that clarity of understandings is the main role that is played by communication.
Shilakshmi, are there any follow-up questions?
No.
Okay. Yes, Nihal, you were trying to say something.
Yeah, I have a question around how does the communication will help. Now the problem statement is clear, right? And after that, how will it be proceeding with the technology part?
Yeah, like for getting into technology, before that, putting the technology, we have to understand the process completely. So we have been also discussed that there are many people who crack the solution of a solution for a given problem. But before that, nobody has done, because they think differently, they think critically, and they are not in tangents. So here, what is the thing I would like to highlight is the understanding of the problem those people have in their mind, and they break the problems, and they identify the steps where they can put on the technological uh, tool there and get it resolved.
Okay, that means you wanted to say that they will break down the problem, and they will have a certain steps they will be following, and the communication will help on that steps, right?
Yes, because for articulating the problem in a more clear way, communication is the important tool.
You mentioned one point like thinking critically. That is something that is developed, or let's say, it is something that few people might have, few people might not have. How exactly communication can play a role here? in inducing critical thinking for understanding technology?
Like critical thinking is some area that is like not completely dependent on communication, but it act as a platform to build on to that critical thinking part. Like just for example, uh, that brings with the question and answers of proper communication, you build the clarity and and that give that boost to critical thinking in some form that will make them path for the solution.
How will you
Anjali,
build a
does that
critical
answer your
thinking?
question? Go ahead, Neha. Go ahead.
How will you build a critical thinking without communication? Hello, am I clear?
Yes, Neha, you're
Yes,
audible.
yes.
I would encourage someone other than Anshul to take the question.
Can you repeat it again, Nihan? What was your question?
Yeah, how will you build a critical thinking without communication? As it was mentioned, right?
The critical thinking, can be improved by, like having some activities, that would boost the
What,
critical thinking
yeah, what kind
activities.
of activities? What kind of activities?
Activities, problem solving activities or like little hackathons or something, the hands-on practices so that it could make the students go out of the box in terms of thinking. Create, they go out of the box and come up with something critical.
Yeah, so communication will be involved there, right?
Yeah, yeah, communication is
Yeah,
involved.
yes.
Okay, anything else from the team? Yeah, Gaurav.
I think the point was made by Anshul, right? So I think we can give him the chance to clarify what he wanted to say, if he has
Sure.
any
like
points.
like from the overall definition of critical thinking itself, how we analyze, go into rigor and deep dive into the statement when we hear, listen, and see the writing about that. So here the communication has a key important, you can say, like it like having the role of getting the understandings from what you are hearing, what you're listening, and yeah, and that is like making you develop to reason, have logical decisions based on your interpretations that you have got.
So you mentioned that you are going to use uh, tools along with communication to build critical thinking.
No, we didn't mention tools.
Tools,
Uh,
as you mentioned,
the
having a rigor, right?
yes,
To
communicate.
understand
Yeah, that communication is itself is acting as a tool to develop that.
how let's say this is our discussion here, we are having an history. How can you induce critical thinking into everyone, me, Sri Lakshmi, Ardua,
Okay, so yeah,
through communication?
yeah, it is like Socratic dialogues. Like critical thinking is the thing when you start questioning, then after questioning you get some answers for that. You analyze those answers and come to a better solution. So in this all the process, you have to interact with a lot of people. You have to interact. You have to listen. You have to hear. So in
So
the
in
whole
that
process,
collaboration, that would be a tool of communication, right? It's a question, like you can negate or you can.
okay, yeah, I am collaborating with for critical thing, I have to collaborate with my environment to get into the rigor and details by questioning and analyzing what the inputs I'm getting.
Okay, team, I think we are going on a little tangent. Our discussion was around technology. So, what I don't understand is where exactly is your technology coming into all of this basic principles that you're, where exactly are you bringing in the technology?
Yeah, so like our principles were we defined that understanding of the problems and understanding of the problems and getting the technology involved. Like we have already discussed on that. Like first important thing is getting the problems clarified. Then only we can use the technology tool to uh, get the problem resolved in a more optimized way than it was being done earlier. So in that, also we can see the contrast how technology works in different problems. It may be it for one technology, if we identify the core problems, we can put the technologies in different kind of problems. Acting like if acting like if you are understand if we have already understood the first principles, we can put it there and get the solutions. And yeah, we also discussed on creativity. Creativity, it's we are doing something out of the box. And here we have to explore out the things. And during exploration, we require tools and some medium to just find out which is making our work and problems rectified more easier way. So here, like technology plays an important role in that also. Like I'll give example of the pressure cooker. Like it is a technology. Earlier we used to cook rice and leave it in the stove and all. But with the pressure, this electric cooker we have, it has automated thing. We need not monitor it in front of it. It has the auto cut off if we have the water level and rice in the proper place. The auto cut off. So that reduces our like anxiety that to be there in front of that and keep watching that. So there is how we are somehow saving our times to involve in other works. So here, some of the creativity it has gone in that tools in the equipment that I have just mentioned in my example. And we have involvement and exploration. So involvement like um, keeping the people involved, making them use of uh,
Okay,
some
Anshul, I think
yeah.
you're deviating a little bit from the point where we started from, right? It was just around how you would use technology, which I understand you first identify the problem statement, break it down, and then apply it to your technology, if I'm getting it right.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Okay. So, if no other questions are there, we can wrap up this round. We can take one last question if there are any questions. Okay, since there are no questions, we'll be wrapping this round. Thank you, Team X.
Um,
Okay, Anjali, you had a
sorry,
question. Just go ahead. No, no, go ahead.
I was just thinking about it. These are few of the ways that you mentioned. Is there anything other than involvement and communication? And I think one was mathematics that can help in learning technology. Let's take a very simple example. Kids, they may or may not learn technology from schools. We are discussing here about education's involvement, but they do learn about technology before that. So, what exactly is playing the role here instead of the subjects that we discussed?
Creative.
Can you repeat it
Yeah.
again, Anjali?
Yeah, I'm just trying to explore what other ways are there for a person to learn about technology. Taking a very simple example, children may or may not learn about technology from school. They can learn from their homes as well. So there, what exactly is playing the role? How do they learn about technology?
They directly interacting with the technology can help them understand the technology. Like, can we say like
Why,
WhatsApp and
why are they directly interacting?
the curiousness that they have can drive them to directly interact with the technology to understand how things are going on. So that's
I
what
just think curiosity plays a core role into understanding.
curiosity drives you to explore more things and understand what is going on.
Okay. Is that it? Is curiosity all?
Also, things can be like made interesting for the kids in terms of like some activities, some gamification of the some task. If they are like completely not interested, this can be make. This is how we can make it interesting. And yeah, and giving them some small problems or in some part of technology to solve it. People can learn and just relate it with for the bigger problems in their lives also.
Does that answer your question, Anjali?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be closing this round now. Thank you so much, Team X, for your pitch. So now I would request Team Edutech to go ahead with their pitch.
So we are Team EduTech. So today's SD is about technological education. So usually our subject teachers plays a crucial role uh, while they are explaining the uh, while they are explaining about technology. So they will make us that uh, make us that class very interesting and understandable, and by giving their examples and making us to give the examples, making us to come up with an examples, the session will be more interactive, so that they can also think and they can also learn about the technology, about technologies easily. And we can also use the Feynman technique and Socratic dialogue as well, so that they will understand the concepts more easily. So if we take art teacher, they will explain about all the designing part and how to use the things. I mean, how to use the colors, when to use the colors, where to use the icons and all. So they will try to explain us to how to make best use of all the things available. So those things will be useful at when we are developing any websites, or when we are developing any Figma prototyping and all. So those things will be useful. Those things will be takes a place. And if we take physics teacher, so they will try to make us some small projects, like developing any circuit thing projects and all. So based on by using those projects and all, they will try to tell the technology. And uh, and so this is about my pitch. So Nihal will take the place from here.
Uh, Okay, sorry. Just adding on to Sri Lakshmi's point, there is mathematics, business. So let's take example of mathematics. In maths, if we suppose if you want to create a game and there are scores, how does the score adds up? It's max. You are gaining few points, it's adding up to the final score. Similarly, business. Now, when students go up and study business, how exactly that help them in technology? You are learning business, you are learning how to put it out, how to make it solve the problem statement that is there in the society. So that is where exactly business comes into picture. You are understanding how to make plans, how to think about the users, how to execute your technological product. Over to Nihal.
Exactly. Education plays a very important role, and the teachers would say every subject has a different weightage and different thing, different sort of knowledge that they can relate with their subject and give it to students. So what I wanted to say is, suppose take an example of social sciences teacher. So he will teach you, like he will teach you civics, geography, history, and other subjects. So there will be a ethical guidance for you, okay, how they can proceed with that. If we take a example of a history, like they can teacher can explain how the evolvement of a technology from nothing, from zero to one, how they came, what is the process on that. This is the first step of social studies. As well as if we go forward, let's take an example of a language teacher, right? Language teacher that also plays a very important role because when we are coding, right? So computer needs a special sort of language to understand and to
Okay,
deliver that
Neha,
language.
uh, hi.
Yeah,
Can we keep this short, right? It's a short pitch. It's a two
sure,
minute pitch. Can we keep this short?
sure, sure.
You can get your time to explain later.
Mhm. Ex-
Continue.
Yeah,
What way of
exactly, exactly. So, mhm, sure. So, I was talking about the language teacher, right? So, language teacher will help you art of articulation, right? So, how to articulate, how to present your views uh, in front of technology, how like documentation part, right? So, language teacher will help you in the part of how will you articulate your ideas in front of the other stakeholders, in front of other team members, right? And yes, as a we have several other platforms for a self-learning, like YouTube and other stuff, right? But if you talk about the faculty or if you talk about the professors or moderators, they play a very important role because they understand the students and they provide you the customized way of learning to our students. Yeah, this is all from my side. Over to you, Arpiya.
Okay, thank you, Team EduTech, for your pitch. That was a very interesting pitch. So now I would ask the other team and everyone else to go ahead and start your questions.
Yeah, I have a question and clarification also. Like we have told about the Feynman technique. So where are we going to use it for the problem statement or for technology?
Sri Lakshmi, would you like to take that up regarding the Feynman technique?
So when we when we teaching the students about technology and all, so for them it is very critical to understand. So if we use Feynman technique or if we use Socratic dialogue, they can easily understand. That's what my perspective is.
Okay, so they can easily understand the problem statement, and after that,
So, they can by Socratic dialogue they can use their problem statement easily. And if we use Feynman technique, they can connect to their own examples so that they can build the technology more effective.
For everyone's information, Sri Lakshmi, if you can explain what Feynman technique is, that would be great. I think.
So Feynman technique is by using real world examples, so making things easier so that the concept will be very easy to understand. So by using Feynman technique, we can easily teach them so that they can understand easily.
okay, so with your like explanation, I can make it like student has understood and make it have the clarity with the as Socrative dialogue and Feynman technique he has understood. So like what will be the next roadmap to bring in technology for the further implementation here? How will you just channel it out or some student teacher to student funnel that how it will be like passed on to like in that way. Am I clear?
Yeah. So you're saying what would be the next step, right? Once you have utilized all the principles to understand the problem statement. We can maybe take the thinking approach here. Uh, what we do there is we understand the problem statement. We have a benchmarking so that we know if similar problem statement is out there and a similar solution is out there already or not. and accordingly have a creative thinking part wherein we are thinking about simpler ways or solutions that is available, or that can be developed, so that this problem statement can be solved, or can be uh, uh, can be tackled with the technological product. So something that sort we can try. And of course there are these subjects that we have discussed here, that we shared in the pitch, are helping you have clarity about technology. But when it comes to application of technology, it is going to be an approach of creative thinking, critical thinking, to understand the problem statement, as my teammate Sri Lakshmi rightly explained. Feynman technique, Socratic discussions. These are the key ways to analyze a problem so that you get to a solution. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it answers.
Yeah, I like to ask one question. Sri Lakshmi, you told like the teachers make understand the students the best use of tool. Like, how do they actually do that for kids? Am I clear?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, you mentioned that teachers make the students understand the best use of tool. How do they actually do that for kids?
I think I didn't mention that in that
Okay.
point.
Yeah, to answer that question, Vamsi, that is simple, like a project-based learning that we are doing. How the teachers explain their uh, explains or introduce the tools to a student. If I'm not wrong, this is the question, Vamsi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
So definitely, like we have different steps to introduce them. We have different procedures. The one of them is project-based learning. Like once we are showing them the project, we are building that curiosity in among the students. They understand what is it and how it is made. That a rigor building, that reasoning comes in the mind of a student, see how it is made, and with the help of that, and with definitely stepping to the different steps of Socratic dialoguing as well as the Feynman technique, right? Then we can move ahead and we can slowly explain them, and we can bring a proposal in front of them. The tools, suppose that the Figma was discussed, so we'll put that Figma in front of the students. So that will build more interest on them.
Does that answer your question, Krishna?
Yeah.
Do you have any follow-up?
No.
Okay, we can move on to the next thread.
Yeah, we have like your model have been you have told about all the learnings and the exercises with the different subject teachers and their knowledge and your practicals. They will be helping to student to learn and gain these all problem solving skills, understand the problems and get that uh, how to implement technology in their uh, day-to-day life and in the coming problems. So I just wanted to know whether the scope of the learnings and uh, activities are limited to the school-based courses, or some if additional some complex problem comes and that is very much related to some advanced technologies. So in that case, how will you approach that?
So I'll take that question. Your question is basically, is there going to be any additional base other than the education?
Yes, other than the regular education and subject teachers we have.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. There will be additional ways, like we discussed in your teams, which is the last question that we discussed about curiosity. Not everyone goes through college or academic scripts to understand about technology. Something like curiosity, or a individual person's way to think about a certain situation. Let's take two examples. There is one person who is, yeah, I'm taking up your example about the cooking rice. One person who is comfortable with cooking rice in normal vessel, and another person is comfortable or is understanding the importance of this new tool or technology of rice cooker. How exactly do you see these two people? One person knows the uh, implementation of technology, and he feels this is how my work will be efficient. The other person might or might not know about the technology but feels this is how efficiency is. So it's all about individual curiosity as well as the critical thinking that plays more important role than any kind of academics. Like you were saying, this communication and everything helps children. Yes, that's why teachers play a really important role in inducing this kind of a thought process in students, because in a common world, to learn things automatically can be difficult. Like we discussed about this two scenario about two people dealing with things in two different ways, one with the technology, one without technology. So the kind of thinking that has to come, teachers or professors does help in inducing those things. But again, this all plays around on how you eventually take up life. So yep, does that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay, so for the interest of time, we'd have to close this round. But before we leave, we want to have two reflections from the participants. Who wants to go first? You can share your insights about how this experience was. What did you learn? How has your idea evolved from the time you started and till now? Yes, Anshul, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll like to reflect on the two things. First, the discussion that the earlier team has asked me in the question of there itself, like how the critical thinking and communications are related. And on thinking and deeper analyzing, I got their answer in between. And that helped me to just further gauge into the things that how essential it is. And yeah, and help us to rectify the core of the problems and analyze the situations and we can easily put the technology inside in a smoother way. And the second thing I want to tell is the role of the student and school and the teachers. How our mentors, whoever our mentors, however the mentors are like giving us the education to make those problems understand so that like we can build that Anjali last she had like a bullseye like make the people understand automatically and outside problems also they can tackle and it should come with their uh, without forcing them it should come from them itself and they should be interested on so these kind of things are developed and not can be like it cannot be forced so like yeah it is so important for our society.
Thank you, Anshul. That was really interesting and insightful. We would take only one other reflection before we close it up.
Uh,
Yes,
uh,
Anshul.
Not exactly a reflection, just adding on to Anshu's point. Just a small correction. Like, it's not that something is forced, rather, I would say that something is unknown to a person. And how do you make it known? And what the education helps is to dig deeper. Like you said yourself, you goes deeper into analyzing. You are applying critical thinking over there. So, that is something that education supports or helps you to do. But in places wherein education is not playing role, curiosity can alone drive a lot of solutions. And yeah, it's not something that is to be done forcibly or force is applied, but uh, yeah, the entire point of this history of how education is actually helping in technology understanding is I think by inducing those kind of ideology, inducing learnings, more like applying all this education, mathematics, physics, applying those education into technologies, how exactly it helps. So that is also my reflection.
Thank you, Anjali. And thank you both the teams for participating. And I would say it was an interesting SD. A lot of threads came up. Hopefully, we'll follow those up asynchronously. And thank you, everyone. We'll be back next week with yet another SD. Shavan, you'll be closing the live, right?